Alright, so if any of y'all got to see my June 2018 update, you knew that I was going to be coming around to teach about sigils. Now, I also said I was going to leave magic and all that stuff out of it, and I was going to keep it off YouTube, and I mentioned about putting a free sigil course online on Gumroad or some other website. However, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, because that's just going to be harder to do, and I think at that point I'd have to pay for everybody that downloaded one. And so I'm just going to put it on here. And so for all of you who followed the channel, who've gone over and seen all the videos that I've made on manifestation, and you're wondering, well, what about ritual? What do we do here physically on Earth? This is that video. Alright, and we're back. And so as I've mentioned before, there's one thing that I don't like about the law of attraction, and is that they all keep it mental. They only tell you about the law of vibration. And sometimes they go a little bit on the law of polarity. Not much. But it's all about feeling as if, you know, being in the present, which that does fit in the thought type of magic, the thought form type of magic, and it definitely has its place. However, though, when we want to take our stuff to the next level, we do need to employ trance, we do need to employ ritual. There's something that needs to be done here. And so today we're going over sigils, and if you're wondering what a sigil is, you've seen many of them. I've got the whiteboard for once now, so we're going to move over here so that we can get a closer look, and so I can give you a lot of better examples. Alright, so a sigil is just a statement of intent that has been symbolized. You'll read this in books. They'll tell you to sigilize your desire, to sigilize your statement of intent. It's something that we're going to go over when the candle course is finished. But just for an example, I know many of you have driven down the road and at least seen that. It's a very poor drawing, but it's the Toyota logo. And you can see the T, the O, the Y, the Toyo O, T, and then you've got the A right there. I've seen this posted on social media before where someone will find a logo and they're like, oh my goodness, all the letters are in the name. How creative, yeah. When I see that, all I see is a sigil. And so what we're going to be doing, as I've gone over creating statements of intent, writing them down, using them whenever you are using a candle for your manifestations, focusing in and utilizing what you learned in the law of attraction while you're gazing into the candle. But what do we do with a statement of intent? What can we do with it? So let's say, we're going to go pretty odd, because it's very easy when we're doing anything that normal people want. You know, it's either money, sex, or power. And so we're going to go over these three really quickly. So for money, you don't want to say, I want blank. You want your statement of intent to be, I will blank to happen. And then you can add a parameter for, you know, next week, next month, anything like that. And with sex, when people want sex, in my opinion, sigils aren't really the way to go. I would look up love spells to begin with, but to be honest, I would cast for the perfect mate. Or cast for yourself to be a more likable person. You could cast yourself to be more, I'd say, extroverted. If you're somebody who doesn't get laid a lot and you're never leaving the house, you know, cast for the opportunity to leave the house. Cast for, you know, getting that uppity type mood. I know a lot of people who just don't, so they're just antisocial. You can cast to be more social. You can cast for more energy. You can cast for more masculine energy. You can utilize that on Tuesday, the day of Mars. We're going to go over planning your sigils later on in this video too. But at a sigil's most basic level, it is, I will something to be. At its most basic level, I will something to be. It could be whatever you want. I don't want to go over the basic ones on money, like I will to earn $5,000 this month. I will to make an extra $100,000 this year. Those are pretty straightforward, but you know, as I said, these are the most commonly used things, most things that people usually go for. However, I don't want to go over those. I want to go over little things because someone might be like, well, what if I want a certain object? Well, it kind of works the same way as money. Whatever object you're wanting, let's say you're looking for a specific book, which is actually quite common. Let's say the book was called Light Show or something like that. And let's say it was by a guy named Herman. I would put forgive me, my handwriting's terrible. I'm not used to writing on a whiteboard, so it's very weird. And yes, I do write with my left hand. That's something everyone's always like, oh, you're with your left hand. But either way, I would write, I will, let's put 2, I totally forgot. I will, or yeah, sometimes you can leave it out. Sometimes I do leave it out, but sometimes I do add the 2. It really depends. You really have to feel out for it. But I would put, I will obtain Herman's book, Light Show. Or I will obtain Light Show by Herman. And so, here's what you do. From the top down, we're going to create a sigil right now. As I said, it's basically you take your statement of intent of I will something to be. You can change the I will to whatever that is. The blank comes to me, or blank is a part of me, or I have blank, or I am very wealthy, I am loved. Any type of statement of intent. You don't want a future cast. You don't want to say I want to become this or I will become this. It's best to say I am that. And so it goes over to the subconscious mind as that is the intended result that you want to come to pass. You see, this is what I was talking about in the past by utilizing the conscious mind and impregnating the subconscious mind with a task. This statement of intent is the task. And we're going to go over how to put it in the subconscious mind. So let's erase the board. And we are going to create a sigil on this channel. And I want you all to charge it and tell me your results from it. Now we want to do something that's a little bit off the wall so that we can notice it, but not too off the wall that it's improbable. And so, to be honest, I should have planned this out before I made the video. No. There is one sigil that I have used that is that I have recharged multiple times just because it was one of those off the walls that seemed to always work. And that is okay. So the sigil for this is I will meet a strange woman next week. Now, when we make a sigil, we have the statement of intent, and as we're working on it, we visualize the outcome as if it's happening in the moment, and we feel it as it's happening. Now, the reason I wanted to use this is because this is a little bit more complicated than just casting to see a tennis ball in your yard, where you just visualize a tennis ball in your yard easily. You see, this is something that you have no clue what could happen, and so this is a great example that I'm going to use for this channel. Now, I will meet a strange woman next week. That could be anything. You could be somebody at work, you could bump into somebody, your car could break down, you could be a total, what's the Jim Carrey movie we went over? Yes Man. You could be one of those moments. And so with sigils like these where you don't know the outcome, you don't focus specifically on meeting one specific person, one specific woman. You can replace woman with man, especially because whenever we go over removing letters, you'd only be removing these and it's fine because there's already a W here anyways, and we're going to cut out the vowels as you will see. But what you'll do is whatever statement of intent you're doing, because we're going to use this one as an example, you can do this one with me, you can do it later, and then you can also take the formula and do it with whatever else you're wanting. And so you write out, I will meet a strange woman next week. And I always write it in capital letters. Now, do I think you have to? No, but that's just how I do it. And so, visualize just multiple situations. Just move from one to the other of running into somebody. Not the situation yet, but just meeting somebody, and then also visualize how you would think you would feel after you met a strange man or woman. And so you want to kind of bring that feeling into it as you do this. And so, after you write your statement of intent, and you are using visualization, you are using the emotion, the force, and the form together as we've gone over, this is when you're going to start crossing out all the vowels and all the repeating letters. Now, it's usually it's not that complicated, but it is time consuming whenever you're crossing it out and writing it down. So what I usually do is I'll look at everything and I'll go, okay, I'm not going to do that. Next one's W. And then you basically go through the line. I cross it out mentally, and so I'll show you exactly what I do as I see it. I'll see that. Oh, no, there's already a W. Already an N. See, because I'm already over here. Already an N, already an N, no E because we don't do vowels, do X, we already got a T, already got a W, don't do E's, and then we got a K. So right here we've got the statement of intent, and it's been narrowed down to and so, which actually, I know I was just joking making a sound like that, but another way of charging a sigil and casting a sigil is to use a mantra that's made out of the condensed statement of intent, and I have had great results from just doing that alone, but that's not what we're going to go over in this video. We're just going over how to make the sigil. Now, this sigil's already been made, and so I'm going to just draw it on the board. Okay, so my camera ended up dying. I feel like I'm really sporadic in the way that I'm teaching this. I hope it's coming across correctly. If not, I'll just have to remake it. So this is a sigil that I had already made, as I said. We took this, we broke it down to this, because you cross out every vowel and every repeating letter, and this is what I was left with. Now you can take this statement of intent and you can make your own sigil, or you can charge this one. And, you know, if you come back with a nice story, I'll put it on the channel. But either way, let's do this from the ground up, so that you understand how to do this on your own, and so that you don't screw shit up. All right. Let's say you've got a boss that doesn't see you, and all the hard work you do at work. You could create a sigil. Now, there will be times where you'll need to break down your statement of intent a little bit farther, okay? See, because let's say you want to receive great recognition at work, or, you know, for my work, you know, how could that play out? You know, something really bad could happen, something embarrassing, and you receive great recognition. So you really do need to narrow it down, and this is why I go over so many times on you have to know what you want. And so I would say I would change that to I will receive recognition for my work ethic. Now let's say you want to receive recognition from a certain somebody. Sigils don't work for influencing other people. However, there is magic to do that, but that's not what we're going over. We're going over sigils to reprogram the subconscious mind to then manifest the results that you want. So, I will receive recognition from my work ethic. And so what we do is we cross out all the vowels, I go through them, and so I'm going to actually cross them out. As I said, I don't ever really cross them out, I just do it in my head, but for the sake of the video, no I, let's put down the W, no I, L, alright, we already got an L, so cross out the other L, go to R, no vowels, alright, we don't have a C, there we go, vowel, alright, V, vowel, and then R, see we already have an R, so we don't need that, it's a vowel, already have a C, it's a vowel, alright, then you go to G, alright, take an N, there's the vowel, T, vowel, N, and then F, vowel, R, and M, Y. I keep Y in sometimes when it's almost more close to using it as a consonant rather than a vowel, such as yellow, because it does define the word. But in my, it's more of that sound of my or my. I don't know. If you get what I'm saying, I would not use it in this case, but however, I know some people do, but we're not. All right, we've already got a W, no vowel. We already got an R. All right, we don't have a K. All right, vowel, we already got a T. We don't have an H. All right, that's a vowel. We already got a C. All right, so we are left with this. Now, how would Hayden usually sigilize this? My style of sigils, I don't try to have them symmetrical, but we'll see how this goes. So I start putting some letters into it. And as you do this, you want to bring the visualization of what you're wanting as you were doing the work of creating the sigil. And so there will be some cases where, see, if I flip around my head like this, this could be a G right here. All right, and we can already create an H like that. You see, just mixing up the letters. See, there's already kind of like a K right there if you look at it in a way. So I'll dot what I can already see. Then let's put an M right here. I'm doing this really fast. I usually take about 30 minutes to create my sigil. Let's say there's an F right here. If I do that, that also gets rid of T's. And if I bring this up through there, it gives me an N. Oh, I wrote down two N's. Huh. Already got the G. That already looks like a V. It's already definitely a C. I already put the R. There's definitely an L in there, especially if you ever have a T. You'll get to know what's what, you know. And then the M upside down is also a W. And so what I do is I kind of look for the visual of what's going on in there, or I would change it. And in this, I'm kind of getting this feel. And so what would I do with that? Would I actually make it all curvy like that? No, I don't really like that, so I'm going to redo this. And this is exactly how I would create the sigil. And so while this may be boring, I do want to show you because there's so many people online that have so many questions all the time. And I do spend time helping people on Reddit and such like that, but man, some people just don't get it. All right, so let's start off with the L. Let's create this into a T. Add some things right there. All right, my camera keeps shutting off for some reason, but either way. So we seem to have a T. We seem to have a little bit of an H going on. Definitely a V and an L due from this. Connect this, we do sort of have an M or W going on right here, or you can consider it right here or right here. So it doesn't have to look exactly like script M or a script A, but you want it to look similar. And so the W and the M, that's already out of the way. Create an F. All we gotta really do is that. This can be considered a C. Now G. I'd say do something like that. But we're going to do something to it later after we simplify it, because you're going to want to re-simplify this down as much as you can. And so we need to figure out how to have an R in all of this as well. And so I'd say that would kind of make it look like an R right there. And so sometimes, okay, we need a K. We need a K, definitely. Just have it like that. It's kind of sideways. And so sometimes what I'd do is I'd blur my eyes a little bit and see kind of the form of what's going on. And so I definitely have this. And I might even just take out that part right there and just go like that. And then instead of adding those right there, I might even just go like that. Add some little arrows. I always do these. I always add some dots, kind of add some symmetry, add some dashes. And this is kind of how I start to form my sigils. Now, we can break this down even more, and we're going to do that. Okay, so let's just go ahead and have this as the top. That right there. No, I don't like that. We're going to still keep this. And so instead of them going down, maybe having them come up. Now this still looks a little complicated. So what can we do with it? And this would be my final step. I would look for the form within it all. And bam. To be honest, I'd keep it between either one of these. As I said, I always add some dots, maybe even a dash, and this would be my finished sigil. And so we have our statement of intent, the one right here, not this one, because we changed it. I will receive recognition, I will receive recognition for my work ethic. All right, and so that is this sigil leg. And now we're going to go over what to do with it next. Alright, so as we have created the sigil, we visualize the outcome, we feel as it's already happened, we use what we've learned in the law of attraction during our sigil making ritual. And so after we've made these, here, we're going to keep a list over here of what to do so that you can keep track and not stay confused. So first, we have what we want / need. Number 2 is the statement of intent, SOI. Number 3, we sigilize. Number 4, we simplify. Number 5, we are going to be charging. Now, this is why it is important to have a meditation practice, as it'll be really easy to go into the trance-like state to where you can only focus on one point and you can visualize and feel it and push it out into the sigil, because that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to focus on the sigil, turn off all the lights, light your candles, meditate, focus on your breathing for a good 5 minutes, simply just calm down, let your blood rate slow down a little bit, and get in a trance to where you can just focus on one thing. And that thing is whatever you're casting for, whatever you wanted to do, that you made the statement of intent for, you sigilized it, you simplified it, and now you're going to charge it. And so you do this for about 15 to 30 minutes where you just stare at the sigil. Do it as if you're staring through it, as if you start to blur your eyes sometimes. But as I blur my eyes too much, I try to bring it back into focus. And you'll get some really weird optical effects. A lot of people say that they experience little flashes, like glitter almost, it looks like. I'd have to say, while I'm doing it, I feel the depth between me and the sigil. It's not just me looking at the sigil, I can feel the depth between it. And whenever I know that it's charged is when it starts to get a little thicker. You'll know what I mean. Now, so you do this for 30 minutes. And there you go, you're done. Then you can just burn the sigil. If you're casting for money, you could, because that corresponds to the element of earth, you could bury it in your front yard. Either way, you want to get rid of the sigil. Now, that's the quickest way to do it. There are some people, like myself, who do put them away. Now, you want to get 2 envelopes, and you're going to want to label one of them Waxing Moon, and the other one Waning Moon, to keep it real simple. Go back and watch the video on planning. I think it's called Planning and Staying with the Tide. Either way, when you're bringing things to you, so Waxing Moon, whenever you're wanting to banish things, get rid of bad habits, get things out of your life, during the waning moon. The waning moon is when it is going from light to dark. Waxing is when it's coming from darkness to light. Now, if you do want to put it away, because as we in magic, we try to forget what we've cast for, and with sigils, what you are doing is you are psychologically linking what you were feeling as if and wanting to cast for with the sigil. Now, when you put it in one of these and you keep making other sigils throughout the week, and you're also adding more, and you start accumulating them, you'll eventually forget what they are, because you'll have all kinds of different, symbols and this and that and yada yada, and you won't know what is what. And so you put them in there so that you can then forget. See, you can either charge it and then burn it and forget it, or what you can do is forget/put away. And we're going to put them away in one of our envelopes. And then whenever the next waxing moon phase is going around, because you don't want to charge one from the waxing moon if the moon is waning currently. So you'll pull one out at random. Let's say you pull this one out, and you'll charge it the same way. You'll gaze into it, except this time you won't know what it's for, so you won't be visualizing anything. This is another reason why it's important to practice the focusing on a point meditation on the wall, because then you'll be able to just blank your mind out and just stare at the glyph, stare at the sigil you made, the symbol of your statement of intent. And so after you pull it back out, I just call it a blank charge. Now, there are some people that use sexual energy. What is sexual energy? Guess what, guys? Hate's not talking about that, but I will go over how to utilize it. So, using sexual energy to charge the sigil, what you would do is during either masturbation or sex, right at the moment of climax, when you get that state of gnosis, you would then blankly stare at the sigil without considering what it is. If you do it, like I said, where you put it away and you forget about it, you already won't know what it is, and so it'll be easier. But if you are using sexual energy on the 5th step, charging and letting it just be that, you will have to get it out of your mind and just stare through it while you do that. Now, what do we do after that? Alright, so number 8, after that, you let go, you forget about it, you burn the sigil, whatever you want to do. And you get it out of your mind. Now, this can be the hardest step for some people, but in my opinion, it's the easiest as long as you are going right back up to this and moving on to the next thing. What do you want? And then you move on to the next thing you'd like to cast for. You create a statement of intent for it. You then sigilize it. I would like to add something about the statement of intent, and that is one rule. No negative words. You can't have conjunctions such as don't, won't, can't, not. The subconscious mind does not pick it up. So if you say, I will not be sick, what you're really saying is, I will be sick. And so, let's say if you wanted to not be sick, you would just say, I will to be healthy. See, because we've gone over the waxing moon bringing things towards us. What about the waning moon, getting rid of bad habits, such as I will quit smoking. Let's say you want to banish debt, anything you want to get out of your life. Let's say it's the waning moon and you want to cast for more money, but it's the waning moon, so you could just banish poverty, create that into a sigil. And then after you sigilize that statement of intent, simplify it, you do the charging, and you let it go then, or you can put it away into one of these after you've done a few more sigils, because then at this point, after you put it away, this is also another part where you go up too, and then you'll also go back and you'll constantly circle through these by opening it up every once in a while and being like, I don't remember what this means, and then you cast that sigil as well. And so as long as you're constantly moving the ball forward, this step is the easiest, letting go and forgetting about it, because then on days that you're casting for sigils, something will manifest. Now, there's one thing that you need to do, and it's not a step on this, but it is kind of like on its outside thing, and that is to keep good notes. Now, I haven't gone over how to make the journal or the portfolio. I've mentioned it before. Got some ideas for journaling exercises and making a self-mastery binder. That's something I've been working on for a while, but however, it's not going to be out for a while. But I will eventually, pretty soon, teach you how to outline your journal for if you're wanting to turn this into a practice, a daily practice. You can also add your own journaling exercises that you find online, different mental exercises to work with, etc. But you need a journal, and you need to keep the picture of the sigil, what the sigil means, when you casted it, the day, the minute, the hour, what kind of incense you had, if you had candles there, which you want to take the law of correspondence into account. If you're doing something with money, I would have green candles. Something with love, red candles. But you really don't need that. You can just do white candles. That's what I do most of the time when I'm just doing sigils. So really all you need is a pen and paper and to follow this list and then keep good notes. Right? When you did the operation, when you casted for it, what envelope you put it into, how you got rid of it, what you did for each of these steps, and then keep good results, because when the result comes around, you're going to go and look back at that sigil, and you might be able to use that sigil again, depending on what it is. And so, on the side, keep good notes. That's really all I have to say about it. You might have some trouble with, what do I cast for? You know, coming back to this step and keeping the ball going forward. You need to, as I said, have a purpose, because then you'll have all kinds of new things to cast for. Things that aren't necessarily needs, but things that will take you to the next level you will need to cast for. And so, as I've said that I will do random things sometimes, such as earlier in the video, the sigil, I will meet a strange woman next week. I'll slip some of those in there, and I won't recognize what they are, and I'll charge them. Now, some people do this, and it's called shoaling, and they will also add a bunch of sigils of things that they've already accomplished. It's more of a follow the leader tactic, to where you, after you put it away, then you cast the sigil, and it's something that you've already done. Your mind recognizes it as something manifested, and so the rest of them follow that lead. And so if it hasn't manifested, the universe then will bring it to you to fill that empty space. And that is also why we burn the sigil or get rid of it in some way. Now, if you know what element it corresponds with, earth, air, water, or fire, you can dispose of the sigil that way through running water. Nothing stagnant. Bury it in your front yard if it's something you want to bring towards you. Bury it out away from your yard if you want to get rid of it. But to be honest, most of the time you can just use the element of fire and just burn it on top of the candle, and then drop it in some heat-safe, fireproof dish. And that's really all 2 sigils that I wanted to go over today. So, I hope this cleared up a lot on why I say I don't like the law of attraction, because they don't teach you the ritual work. And so once you do this, let me tell you, this is when the results kick off. Take everything that I've used in the past self-mastery series, all the videos, and apply it to creating the sigil and start practicing making sigils, because it will take some practice. So start practicing, get good results, leave some stories, and if you haven't seen my last video, you can click right here. If you haven't seen my last video, you can click right here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you can click right here. And I will for you all to prosper. And have a great day.